Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi Devi, good afternoon.
Hi Devi, very good afternoon.
Hi.
Devi, good afternoon.
Okay. So, can you tell me what is the difference between OLTP and OLAP?
OLAP where we can insert, update and delete. It is
OL?
a OLTP.
Okay.
So it's a day-to-day transaction where we enter all the details like in front end. So what are all the details updated in the OLTP that will be stored in the OLAP where we can use to retrieve the data from there and we can do the analysis.
Okay, great. Okay. What is the difference between SQL Server and SQL?
SQL is a database, and SQL. So SQL Server is a database. SQL is it's a language. So when we retrieve the information from the database, we use SQL.
When you want to connect with the server, you
Yeah, we
need to.
use a bridge. Yeah, SQL is a bridge, like a bridge.
Okay, correct. What is primary key and foreign key?
So primary key is a like primary key is not a null. It should be an unique value. It's not a duplicate. So foreign key it can be a duplicate.
It can have duplicate values and which is connected with the primary key,
Primary key.
right?
Yeah. Yes.
And using primary key and secondary key, we can write a query to combine to get data from different tables. Okay. Okay, so we discussed yesterday. OLTP and OLAP
Your
is
voice
different,
is
right?
your voice is
In
breaking.
systems, the
Hello.
queries are simpler. Is
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Your
Yeah.
voice is
okay.
You
breaking.
are,
Yes, give
yes.
me a
Yes.
second. Hello? Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes. It's
Okay.
audible.
Yes, it's clear.
Just let me know whenever you felt issue, just ping me here so that I'll just change the internet connection. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So in which systems the queries are simple? Is it in OLTP or OLAP?
OLTP. In
OLTP.
OLTP, the queries are simple.
Okay.
In OLAP, it takes time.
It takes time and the queries are complex than OLTP
Yes.
systems, right?
Yes.
Can,
Yes.
as a data analyst, can we connect with OLTP systems directly?
No.
No. For which systems you will have access?
OLAP.
OLAP.
OLAP. Yes. And hope you have drive access. Everyone got drive access?
Not yet. Devi.
No.
Okay, fine. Okay, let me continue with the remaining concepts. Then sharing my screen. Yeah, done till here, right? Study. What is SQL? What is database? Database, what is database?
Database is a collection of data.
Collection of, not data, collection of relative information. I mean,
Relative.
yeah, that should have a relative information, right?
Yes.
That is database. And SQL is a language that is use it to interact client and server. Okay, both client and server will understand this SQL language. It's a common language. And this is the flow for DBMS, database management system. And introduction to RDBMS. A relational RDBMS abbreviation is a relational database management system, is based on the relational model as introduced by EF Cod. That what is this relational model? You know it. Let me open the data in Excel, then you will understand. It's not instruction files. Okay, I'll take a employee table. Okay, so if you see this, every table should be connected with some key, right? So here we have job ID. Job ID, using that job ID, we will get some job and grade, pay grade from this designation table. Suppose if these two are not connected with any of the key, then they are not in relation, yes or no? These two are connected with what? Job ID. And these two are connected with what? Department ID. These two are connected with what? Gender ID. So all the tables in the database should be connected with some common key. Okay, that is called relational model. So RDBMS, that should follow that. Let me open. The relational database management system is based on the relational model as introduced by EF Cod. It has to comply with that 13 rules proposed by EF Cod. The same EF Cod rules, even we will call it as Boyce rules also. So what are the rules? This actually we don't use this RDBMS rules, because we don't directly work with this RDBMS. As a data analyst, we just retrieve the data. Okay, but if you have time, it is not even required for us, but if you have time, just to go through this files. Okay, just to go through these rules. Here in the instruction files, we have a file called Edgar F Cod rules, right? Here you can see foundation rule. RDBMS means it should comply with all these 13 rules. Okay, rule of information, rule of guaranteed access. So just to go through this if you have time. No need to know all this information, but just read it once if you have a time. Okay.
Okay.
Next one. It means that data is stored in multiple tables having relationship between them using a keys. That's what I told you, right? What is relational model means what? All the tables in that database should be connected with some key. Some key or constraint. I'll tell you what is that constraint later. But in this example, all these four are connected with something, right? So using department ID here, job ID, gender ID. So all should be connected. That is called relational model. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now coming to advantages of SQL. Let me go to this example one more time.
The table, this table is not clear, visible. Can you zoom?
Okay.
Can you zoom? Okay. Yes. Yes.
Better? Okay.
Yeah, it's better.
So if you see this is a normalized denormalized data. What is D? What is normalized and what is denormalized? First, let me explain you that. Then I'll explain you what is the advantage of SQL. Okay. Sorry. What is the advantage of SQL? So here we have employee ID, employee name, and job and department name, correct? But in this example, we have employee ID, employee name. Instead of job name, we have just a job ID. That job ID, they are maintaining one more table called designation table. There, based on the job ID, we have a job title and pay grade, correct? But instead of maintaining this in a different table, directly we can get that job and pay grade in the same table only, right? Why we are creating a different table? Are you getting it? Let me create. So if you take this job ID, using VLOOKUP function, job ID, raise it, comma 2, comma 0. So you're getting this manage. This is the job. I'm just hiding it. They can insert data like this directly, right? Why we have a job ID separately and why they are maintaining in a different table? Are you getting what I'm asking? Instead of having a different table for designation, why can't we keep that job directly in this?
Due to space.
Yes. If you see this, here we are storing job ID, right? These are just a numbers. To store a number, it will not take much space. Okay. How many times we need to repeat? If it is a one manager, we need to write instead of job ID. Manager, here it is developer, tester, executive, again manager, manager, manager. Everywhere, wherever we have one, there you need to enter manager, manager multiple times. So instead of taking, I mean, suppose assume like number is taking 1 byte of memory. Okay, if you are storing the text, it will take 2 bytes of memory. And the same thing, how many times you are maintaining? How many times the designation ID we have, job ID we have, that many times you need to write this job name. So it will take more space, right?
Yes.
So to reduce the space, we will keep the data in normalized format. Normalized means it something like this department ID. Only one time we will keep this department and name, location. For each department, only 5 different departments, you will have only 5 values. But department ID will be repeated so that from here, when you are retrieving the data, we will do some joins, something using this department ID, and we will get this name and location. Okay, but when you are storing it, if you are directly storing the department name, location, everything, then it will take more space. Is that clear? First point.
Yes.
Okay. One more. Second thing is, assume like they changed this department ID 20 name is what accounts, right? But they changed from now onwards instead of accounts, accounts and finance. Okay. Now here when I'm inserting the record, just some XYZ person joined and the job ID is some 1 or 2 something and department ID is 20. Okay. And here suppose if you have directly like this, instead of instead of job ID, we have job name directly. Okay. You have like this. If you have like that, so here I'm inserting, sorry, department name, I'm inserting accounts and finance. Okay. So now instead of accounts, we need to get accounts and finance. But you have accounts also in this table and accounts and finance also we have. Yes or no? From
Yes.
now onwards, we are changing it. But what about the old ones? Will it change
No.
automatically?
No.
No.
No, we need to run a different query to modify this department names, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
But if it is in a normalized format, what I'll do instead of this accounts, I'll modify it like a accounts and finance. So when you are retrieving the data, you will retrieve with department ID, right? Wherever you have 20, that will pick finance and accounts and finance. It's a dynamic one, yes or no? Just
Yes.
you will change in the department table, only this designate, this department name you will change based on that, this in the entire table it will reflect.
Okay. At the time we can retrieve both accounts as well as accounts and finance.
No, just accounts and finance. See, if it is a normalized
No,
data. What
So
is
for
the
previous one, just we have for department
yeah,
ID
you will
20.
get as of, suppose if it is changed from March month. As of February, already they saved it in accounts format. The department is
Yes.
just accounts. Till February, whoever are the employees, for them it will come at like a come like a accounts. But from March onwards, it will show you accounts and finance.
Okay.
But what is the requirement? This name only they rename it to accounts and finance. That is not reflecting for the previous employees because you started inserting manually from March onwards. It is a denormalized data. What is denormalized data? You are maintaining complete data directly instead of keys. You don't have like this. You don't have job ID, department ID. Directly you are maintaining employee ID, employee name, job also you are inserting. This is the first, just be clear with what is normalization and denormalization, okay? In the normalization format, instead of writing the same thing again and again, we will create a different tables, okay, to maintain that names and location, whatever it is repeating every time. These are common, right? Only these 5 employee department IDs I'm going to use in my company. These are the 5 departments we have, and for each department we have a department name and that department location. Okay, now instead of writing this department ID every time, in this case I'm writing my department ID every time. Department name, not department ID, sorry. Department name I'm writing every time. Assume like this. You are writing directly department ID. You are not creating a different table for department. So as of February, you inserted like the department name is accounts. Okay. So you have till February data, wherever the department you have an accounts department. But from March onwards, they told you it's not accounts department. The name got changed to accounts and finance. Okay. From now onwards, when you are inserting the tables, when you are inserting the data, what will happen? Instead of accounts, you will start inserting accounts and finance. Correct? So if you retrieve the employee table, in the department name, you will have accounts as well as accounts and finance, both, right? Because you did not modify anything for the previous employees. Only you started inserting that data from now. You will have both. It's not right. Where you have accounts, it should reflect even accounts and finance for this previous records also. So this is not possible if it is a denormalized data. But if it is a normalized data, what you are doing here, let me unhide it. You are storing that in the different tables, department ID name, relevant information you kept in that different table, and job ID, different table, like that. So here, what you are doing, you have a department ID 20. Assume like I'm just getting this data using VLOOKUP function, okay? VLOOKUP of F4 comma 2 comma 0. So you are getting this HRD, all the department names. Okay. The department name is just accounts previously. So what are you getting when you are writing some joins, just like a VLOOKUP function in Excel? In SQL server, if you want to get data from different tables, you have to use joins concept. We'll talk about it later. For now, now based on the department ID, you are getting the department name, right? What are you getting now? Accounts, accounts, accounts. But if they ask you to change that accounts to accounts and finance, do I need to modify in the main table or in the department table?
Only department table.
Only one time?
Yes, only one.
That is reflecting entire everywhere.
Yes.
Not only this table, if you are using in different table using this department ID, if you are doing something, then also there also it will reflect. If it is a manually writing like this, you are not using that key concept, then wherever this department name is there, everywhere you need to go to the table and modify that department name from accounts to accounts and finance. Are you getting it?
Yes, yes.
So this is the normalized data. I'm deleting this. This is the normalized data. Normalized means what? You are not writing the same thing again and again. Just you are keeping that in a different table and you are connecting both the tables using a common key. In this department table, the common key is department ID. So the branch is changed. HRT department is not in Hyderabad. Maybe location is changed. Then if you change it here, then it will reflect everywhere, wherever you have that HRD department, everywhere it will reflect that new location. Okay, this is the normalized data. This is how we maintain data in the tables. Okay, but as a data analyst, again, we don't create these tables. We don't create their primary keys, and we don't do anything this normalization, right? We use only denormalized data. So how you will use this denormalized data? You want to extract employee ID, employee name, not job ID, because we don't create any report using job ID. I need job name only, name, department name. So using some joins concept, using this job id, I'll get this job and pay scale. Using department id, I'll get this department name and location. So we'll use some joins concept to retrieve data from different tables. So as a data analyst, we use denormalized data, but in the database it will store in normalized format. Is it clear?
Uh, I'm, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused. So, like, so when we retrieve the data, so we use, we are not using normalized, you're saying.
We don't use direct normalized data, because when you creating a pivot table, suppose assume like you want to get some calculation, will you do calculation using all these tables? Simply, let's take a pivot table I want to create. Okay, as a data analyst, you want to create a pivot table. So if you have data in 4 different tables, will you create the table, or to create a pivot table, you will get all the column, all the tables information into single table, then you will do the analysis.
Single table.
Single table, right?
Yeah.
Why single table? How you will create that single table? Using some VLOOKUP function, you will get this department name into this table, maybe that new table, not this table exactly. You will create your own table. From here, you will get the columns. Using this job ID, I'll get the job name, department name, department ID, job name, pay scale, everything I'll get from different tables into single table. Then we will do the analysis. Yes?
Yes.
So as a data analyst, we don't use these tables directly. We don't use normalized data. Using that select queries, all that, we will get the remaining tables information into single table. Then that table we use for analysis purpose. So as a data analyst, we use denormalized data as much as possible. We will denormalize it, then we will use it.
Right.
Srinivaslu, is it?
Yeah, but I'm still not, I'm still not like okay with that. I'm still confused because like we see denormalized data when we required dashboards or something, or like using fire tables, we use this. But when we retrieve the data, for example, if it is not a normalized data, so when I retrieve the data based on the changes, like you said, the account department has been changed to account and finance. If I'm using, because the changes has been made in normalized data, not
Normalized
in
data.
so, but if I'm not using, how will I get to know that the department has been changed?
No, that's what. See, select query, you will create on this table, these normalized data only, right?
Hmm.
You are
In
writing select query, okay?
Yeah, yes.
I'm writing something like select employee name, okay? Department name, from department table and there is designation from job. You are writing some select query using this job ID, department ID, all that.
Okay.
That is not a constant, right? Every time that select query also will execute. So
Okay.
whatever is the recent information, you will get that information only.
Okay.
Okay, it is not a constant. Every time it is not constant. You are executed today, it is showing me accounts. After you change to accounts and finance, again you will execute this. A data analyst will refresh the queries or not.
So based
Yes.
on the date, it will give us on that
Correct.
date what was the
Correct.
department name.
So suppose yesterday, in yesterday's data, you took the dump into OLAP system. Okay. So the data is, the department name is just accounts. When they are taking that backup, it is showing like accounts only. Based on that, you created a report. Okay. So today they changed that department name to accounts and finance. So again, today they'll take the backup, then it will show you accounts and finance only, not accounts.
Yes. Got it.
So every time you connect with this table only, means we don't directly connect with this. We will connect with this data I am saying.
Yes. Yes.
This data is nothing but a dump, AP dump.
Yes.
Got it now?
Yes, I understood that.
Okay. Any confusion for reminding people?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So, controlling the redundancy and inconsistency. Redundancy is nothing but it will take less space when you are using a normalized data. If you are using department ID in this column, because it is taking less space, just you are using the department ID and you are getting the data from a different table by using some joins concept. But when you are inserting the data directly, you are not inserting like this. Okay, if you are inserting data like this, if you are using a normalized concept, then it is consistent. That's why what is consistent? Even though you change that department name in one table, that will reflect wherever this department ID is connected, everywhere it will reflect automatically. Okay, next one. So it is consistent everywhere. That is inconsistency we can avoid. Controlling redundancy and inconsistency. Okay. Efficient memory management. Efficient, yeah, you are reducing the memory, right, by using this primary concept. So
Yes.
efficient memory management and indexing. What is this indexing, you know? So to the tables, when you are retrieving the data, if we are using the index concept, the you will get data efficiently with less time. The query using some filters, indexing you will get to know in detail later. But that again, we don't create any index concepts as a data analyst. Okay, when they are creating the tables, they create that index concept. What is index? Just like a filters, instead of getting the complete data using some index is nothing but a number. Using the numbers, we can get the data easily. Okay.
Okay.
Style.
Can we understand like employees who are joined before 2020 or like that? So based upon
Suppose
criteria,
I have a
particular.
index number 1. These are like a positions, okay? I have 1, 2, 3, okay? So in the main table, I have some employee ID, okay? Some data I have. So here the index number is 2. For all this data, maybe some 100 records, the index number is 2. So using index number, if you are trying to retrieve the data, it will take less space, less time to execute, and okay, I'll explain you with examples. No worries for now. It's like a number to retrieve the data easily.
Okay.
Okay. Again, as a data analyst, we don't create any index. We just use it. With examples, I'll explain you later. Is that okay?
Yeah. So it's like a technique,
Okay.
right? Technique retrieve the data.
It's like a technique to execute, to apply the filters easily. Okay. Next, concurrency control and transaction management. So you have a database. So everyone will have access for the complete database.
No.
Okay. This is access control. Concurrency control and transaction. Concurrency control means you have job ID like 1 to 50, correct? Suppose I am entering job ID 60. Will it accept?
No.
No. That management also we have in SQL Server. So it will not allow you to enter that which is not available in the table. It will not allow you to enter the wrong data. Okay, that is concurrency control and transaction management. Access control and ease in accessing data. So as I said, will you give access for, suppose you are a data analyst. As a data analyst, you want to use the complete data. Okay, you some different person, everyone will not have access for the entire table. Yes or no?
Yes.
You want to give some access permissions. Suppose you are working for a East region. As a East region data analyst, maybe they want to give access for only East region data. Okay. Some user admissions, they'll provide some admin related permissions. Okay. Here the control levels are different. Okay. So number based on the region you want to provide the access, only they should access these many records. They should not use the remaining data. One second. Sorry. So you don't want to give permission to entire data. So you want to give only for some particular data. Okay. As a user, like, you are working for a particular project. If they are asking for the permission level, they'll give you access for only that particular project related information. If you are trying to retrieve the remaining data, it will not allow you to get it. Okay, that kind of permissions you can keep it in this SQL server. As a CEO, you want to see the complete information. So that permission levels you can set here. Okay. So as a East region head, you want to see only East region data. So instead of giving complete data, it is giving only East region data, right? So the execution time will be less instead of getting complete data.
Yeah.
So that's what this statement.
So the access is
Access
limited
control and
to.
ease in accessing data.
Right.
Okay. Multiple user interface integrity constraint. Okay. At a time, everyone can able to use the same application. Yes or no?
Yes.
Means the same SQL server. Example, let's take a supermarket, a Reliance supermarket. So the server is same for all the branches and for all the cities. So will you enter when you are entering some data in the Kukatpalli branch? We are using the same server. When you are entering data from Amirpet branch, we are using the same server.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So multiple people can work with the same database and at a time. Okay. And the size of the database also you can increase easily. Size of the database means, suppose when you are creating the database, you given a size like 2 GB. It should accept up to 2 GB. But you got to know the file size is full. Okay. Once the file size is full, if you want to increase more 1 GB, again you can increase the size easily. Or you have one more option called auto upgrade. So once the size is full, every time, suppose I set to 1 GB. So I kept like auto upgrade to 1 GB. So once 1 GB is done, automatically it will add 1 GB. Once 2 GB is done, automatically it will add one more 1 GB. So like that. So that you can keep it in the database design. When we are creating the databases, you can keep that size option. Whether you want to increase your own or you want to upgrade it, or in suppose just for a sample you are creating a database, you kept it like I kept 5 GB. Okay, 5 GB space I want for this particular database, but you are not using complete 5 GB, you just used half GB. Okay, so if you are using half GB but you set the database size to use 5 GB, there is waste of 4.5 GB, right? So that's why to use efficient memory, we are using that auto set option, so that whenever it is full, it will auto upgrade automatically. So again, all that we don't use. When they are creating the databases, they'll do all this database admins. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Okay. Security levels, assign security permissions, allowing restricted access to data. So all that the permission levels also you can set here. Yeah, coming to install SQL Server. Do you have SQL Server in your system?
No.
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 No? Okay. Let me go through this SQL Server installation. Server side installation, client side installation, and when you are working with the SQL Server, what are the steps you need to follow to execute any query? All that I'll explain you. Okay. So you will have this file in your drive. So once we give access to the drive, just go to this link, click on that. Okay. In this link, go to down. You can see a developer edition. Okay, developer. This is SQL Server 2022 now. 2022 developer. This is a free of cost. So this is a free of cost. Don't go for Express. This is a licensed one. So in the companies, they'll use this Express option. For us, just for practice purpose, developer one is enough. Okay. Click on this download button. It will download this SQL 2022 SSEI dev.exe. I'll show you in detail that steps also. You will have one more folder called instructions file. In that, one of the file is SQL Server setup. Click on that. Okay. Here, once you download, you need to click on this, right? This is the old one, okay? When we created this file, 2017 is the file. Now it is 2022. 2022, you can see. Okay, SQL Server 2022. Once you click on that, it will create, you can see a executable file, right? Just click on that. Install using download setup file. This is the file, and double click on that file. It will ask you for basic setup or customized setup. Some buttons you will have. There you need to choose basic option. Okay. And then accept and install. Once just to do normal installation, just to do next, it will install it. Once you are done with the installation part, we need to go for enable TCP IP protocol. I'll tell you that later. So here in the start button, once you install, click on start button and select Microsoft SQL Server 2017. Is nothing but SQL Server Configuration Manager. Just type here SQL Server Configuration Manager. So actually it will show you just like this. SQL Server Configuration Manager. You will see like that once you install it. Suppose if you are not able to see this SQL Server Configuration Manager, you need to go to just go through the location, okay? Go to C. Okay, Windows. In Windows, syswow64. Syswow64. This one. Click on that. In that, you need to select SQL Server Manager 15. Okay. SQL Server. Here, this one. This is SQL Server Manager 16 because I installed SQL Server 2022. Okay. Just do a double click. Click on yes. It will ask you for confirmation. Click on yes. Then it will open this SQL Server Configuration Manager. Okay. So once you open that, go to this again. You need to select SQL Server Service option. SQL Server Service, this one, first option. So in that, right side, it will populate some options. You need to go to SQL Server, MSS SQL Server. This option should be in running mode. And start mode is automatic and state is running, right? This is the default option. What is this automatic and what is this running? If it is a manual, suppose start mode is manual, just double click on it. Click on services here. You can see start mode is automatic, right? So automatic means the server will run automatically every time. Okay. But what will happen if it is running every time? Continuously, the server is running in the backend. It will take some CPU resources to run that particular application. So the remaining applications will perform less. Okay. So try to keep this as manual. Manual means I don't want to run the server every time. By default, if it is manual, if it is automatic, change it to manual. Say apply. Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. Now the server is in running mode. Sometimes, it is in stop mode. Let me stop it. Okay. Now see, the server is stopped. When the server is in stopped mode, if you are executing any query, it will not execute anything because you are not connected with SQL Server. This should be in running mode only if you want to connect with SQL Server. Example, if you take a supermarket transactions, you are trying to enter some transactions, okay? You are trying to enter some transaction, but the server is in stopped mode. If you are trying to insert, it will not affect in the database. It will throw you some error like SQL server, server is down and some 404 error. Did you see any time that 404 error something? That error is nothing but you are not able to connect with the server. That means the server is in down. So you need to start the server. Click on start. Once you start the server, then you can perform the transactions. Is it clear? So for practice purpose, don't keep it automatic. When the automatic also require when every time the server should run. If it is for a supermarket, every time the transactions, we perform the transactions, right? Maybe daytime, night. If it is a different location, here daytime is different and other location daytime is different. Every time you want to run that transaction, you want to perform, you want to work with the database and you want to connect with the server. Then the start mode should be automatic only. So for us, as a just for practice purpose, keep it in manual mode. And once your work is done, once you done the practice, keep it stop. Okay, stop, and whenever you start practicing the files, again go and start running. This is like a Excel formulas, Here you will have in the formulas option automatic and manual, right? Sometimes we will ask you to keep it manual because unwantedly every time the formulas are running again and again. When you have less data, it is fine. But if you are writing some lakhs of formulas, it will take so much time to execute that formulas, right? So same like this, if the server is in running mode, unwantedly, even though you are not connected, you are not working with the server, still it will take some CPU resources to run that server. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Next one. That is about server installation. Now we need to, once it is done, one more thing. So when you are practicing it, change this to running. Once your practice is done, change this to stop. And the start mode, change automatic to manual is preferable for us. But if it is a continuously, you need to connect with the servers. For them, they have to keep it automatic and running every time. Again, as a data analyst, we don't do these. This is not our job. So database admins, they check all these information. Okay. Next one. Select SQL services, config manager, left pane. This is fine. Automatic, okay, manual. This is done. Coming to protocol. Here you will have SQL Server Network Configuration. Click on SQL Server Network Configuration. In this, select that protocols for MS SQL Server. Here TCP IP protocol should be enabled. If it is in disable mode, make it enable. If it is disabled, make it as enable. This should be enabled to connect with the server. Okay. These are the two steps you need to perform in the server side. Okay. Coming to next one, I'll close this. This is about installing SQL Server. This is nothing but a server side SQL installation. We need to install one more thing, that is client side SQL Server. This is management SQL Server Management Studio. That is a server, right? When you are, if you want to write some query, you need a platform. That platform is SQL Server Management Studio for SQL Server. Okay, SSMS. This is the platform UI. It is the client side tool used as UI for connecting to SQL Server and access data. So to install this, click on this link, click on it. So you can see download SQL Server Management Studio. This also will give you some executable file. I'm not downloading it. Once you execute that, just to double click and go with the steps. Next. Okay. In the instruction file, you have SQL Server client side setup. Here also you will have, once you click on that, scroll down in the browser to select SQL Server Management Studio. You will find this executable file. Okay. So once you create that, once you install that, type SQL Server Management Studio. This is how it will create. Click on it. Okay. So once you open that, it will show you like this. Okay. You need to give the server name. What is the server name? That server name you can see here only. This is only one time work, okay? Don't get confused. If you go through that steps, you can do it. You double click on the MS SQL server. Here you can see in the service, right? You can see that host name. This is the server name. Okay. This automatically it will populate here, that server name. If it is not populating, you can select it from here. This is the server. Okay. And you will have authentication mode. One is Windows authentication mode, and second one we use SQL Server authentication mode. Windows authentication mode means our server and a client both are in the same system, right? So you can use Windows authentication mode directly. Suppose if the server is in different location, so a database admin people, they provide you access for they will provide you access, right? Some user roles only up to some data. They don't want to give permission for all the tables. They are giving permission only for a particular table, or they are creating a views, even they are not giving permission for all the even for table also, just they are creating a views, nothing but a temporary tables. The tables permissions they are providing, so all that they maintain it, right? If you are a user, we need to have, they'll provide you some login ID and password. Using that, you need to connect to the server, so that you can't see all the tables, even the database list also, everything you can't see because of your permission level. So as a data analyst, we will have this SQL Server authentication, but as both are in my system, I'll go for Windows authentication. Click on connect. Cannot connect to, a connection was successfully established with the server. Okay. Is it running? It is running. This one is the server. That, not that. So now it is connected. You can see this server name and the databases. In the databases, you will have system database and database snapshot like this. In the system databases, again, you will have master database, model database, MSDB, TempDB. So what are these databases? You can see here what is master database. Just to go through this material also, I'll upload it, okay? We don't use these databases, but I'll tell you. It is used to perform user and administrative tasks and use it to manage SQL server. The program used to run SQL server, then all programs will be in master database, okay? Not our tasks. These are master means all administrative related informations you will have in the master database. Model database, it's just like a template. When you are creating your database, you can take this like a sample. It's just like a template. Okay. And Microsoft database, it is used to store job history. So you perform some action. The SQL commands executed by the user will be stored in job history. It is used for data recovery. You did something, some other person executed some other query. So all that history, it will store in MSDB database. Okay. And temporary database, whenever SQL server is started, then temporary database will be created in SQL server. It is used to store temporary tables, not the permanent tables. Okay. It's just like a bin. Clear? Next one. So once you connect with the database, this is your server. Under this, you will have database, right? This is the database. The database contains primary data file and log file. By the way, SQL Server can contain 32,767 databases. You can create this many databases. Every database will contain primary data file and log file. Okay, you created a database. You created your own database. That database, once you create the database, it will have a primary database file and a log file. What is this primary database file? The primary, whatever queries you execute, that will store in the primary database file. In the log file is nothing but like a history, okay? Whatever steps you are performing, that every log, it will store in the log file. This is also just for a, once you are doing some mistake, you want to check the log, what happened, something you want to roll back, something crashed, then we will go to that log file and we will roll back that executed queries. For that, it will maintain that log file. Okay. So that primary data file again will contains the tables and views, indexes, synonyms. Again, indexes and synonyms we don't use. Tables and views we create. Tables are anyways already created, right? Views are like a temporary tables. Temporary tables means if I take this example, this is my suppose complete table, but I need a table which is having only these 4 columns. I don't want remaining all columns. So what they will do, they'll create a view only with this 4 columns. And whenever you are trying to retrieve the data, you won't retrieve everything. Just you will use this view. View is like a temporary table, which is customized one. Okay. So you will use this file. You will use this view to get the data. And sometimes, they don't give you access for the tables also. They'll create the use data admin people and you will get access for only views. Okay. That is what about it. And coming to this material, this is clear. How to connect. What is connecting to a server, how to connect it. We'll see this into that. We will go to later how to create the database, all that. Let me go to that material one more time. Okay. So you will have a database server. So under that we have instances. If the load of the database is heavy, so just like if you are going for a supermarket, more from many branches, they are trying to connect with the servers, right? So instead of connecting directly to the server, they create a instances, just like a segregation, so that directly instead of connecting with the servers, we connect with the instances. Just we are dividing it. We will connect with the instances just to reduce the load of the server. That is instance, and we create the databases there. Okay. And then layers. This is the physical layer. It will have data files and log files. And logical layer will have objects like tables. And external layers is nothing but queries and views. If I open this, this is the main server physical layer, and in under that you will have objects like this is the database is the physical layer. Okay, under that you will have tables and views. Only tables, sorry. Tables are logical layers. External layers are queries. You will create your own query, or already the queries are stored in the views format. They are external layers. Database objects, just now I explained you, right? Database will have two kind of files. One is primary file and second one is log file. Primary file will have this, and we work with the tables and views. And what is transactional SQL? We have some theory about it. What is the difference between normal SQL and TSQL? We'll call this as a TSQL, or short form of TSQL is Transact SQL. It is enhanced version of SQL which has with some extensions built on top of it. There are some extra options are added in TSQL. Okay. So TSQL is one of the kind of variant. You will have MySQL, TSQL, Oracle SQL. These are the variants. So we are going to learn TSQL. What are the extra features available in TSQL? TSQL identifier meanwhile are used in all databases, servers, and database objects in SQL Server. These include tables, constraints, stored procedures. Just to go through this document, just read it when you have a time. You will understand it. Just some extra options are added compared to SQL and TSQL. Okay. And SQL commands, already I told you in yesterday's class, they differentiated in 5 different ways: DDL commands, DML commands, DQL commands. Based on the commands, you can go to images. Here you can see what you will have in each language. What is DML command? In DML, you will have select queries, insert queries, update and delete queries. What is DDL, DCL, all that. Okay. Just the commands are differentiated based on the command which we are using. And then constraints in SQL. Not null is a constraint. This is ensure that a column cannot have a null value. When you are trying to insert some data, compulsory it should have some value. So this is not null constraint. Constraints are nothing but conditions, okay? Default constraints. Suppose you did not enter any value as a user. If you don't provide any value, it will take a default value. Provides a default value for a column when none is specified. Okay? If you don't provide any value for a particular column, then it will take the default value. Unique constraint ensures that all the values in a column are different. It should have a unique value. What is primary key? It should be a unique and not null. Unique and not null. 1 and 3 should satisfy to have a primary key. Foreign key, you know, right? Secondary key or foreign key refers to a column pointing to a primary key in any other database table, and it is most useful in building relationship between the tables. Check constraint. Index we don't use. Check constraint ensures that all values in a column satisfy certain conditions. So once you start creating the database tables, so you will come to know what is the use of each and every constraint. Okay.
Yes.
Then the similarities between SQL and Excel. So in Excel, we are calling it as a sheet. The same thing in SQL, we are calling it as a table. Range and range dot select in the VBA code, we will write just like a current region, right? Range dot select. Instead of that, select star from we'll write here. We use filter option in Excel. In SQL, we use where clause to apply the filters. Where designation equal to manager, where salary is greater than 20,000, like that we use where clause. To sort the data, we use sort option in Excel, and in SQL, we use order by clause. This is a clause. And in Excel, we use pivot table to summarize the data. And here we use group by clause, group by option. To get data from a different table, we use VLOOKUP function, and here we use joins in SQL. Okay, is this clear? Now we'll create one database. Okay, let's go to this. So you can create using a query. create database name. So if you go through this material, it is very easy for you to understand. These are the data types. Okay, and what is the use of each data type and how much of size it will take, everything you will have. Letter, miscellaneous data types, how to create a database, use it to create a new data. This is used to create a new database. And what is the syntax? Create database name. Okay. You will create database and give your database name. In less than and greater than symbol, whatever you have there, we need to provide the value. Okay. To work with the database, use database. This is the query we have to use. So either you can create database using the command, or you can do from here also. Do a right click on it. Databases. Right click on it. You have new database option. Click on this new database. And here it will ask you for the database name. Let's create our database name like B00663, right? 663. So
Yes.
now when you are creating the database, it will create two names. One is normal B00663. This is the primary. I just now I showed you here. We have primary and the log file. Did you remember?
Yes.
Primary files and log files. When you are creating a database, it will create two files. One is primary and one is the log file. So by default, you will have primary file and log file. This is the log file. Okay. And the initial size of the database is taking like 8 MB. If you want to give some 10 MB, 20 MB, anything, suppose I'm giving 1 GB. Okay. Once you give 1 GB, just for practice purpose, maybe we don't use 1 GB, but unwantedly you are using 1 GB of memory, right? So what you can do, you can give a default size. Later, auto growth option is available here. Auto growth or max size. Click on that dots and auto file growth. How much you want to, once 8 MB is done, how much you want to increase. Just give that and say okay. So automatically, once 8 GB is completed, it is occupied that memory, automatically it will increase 64 MB size. Once 64 MB is done, again it will add one more 64. So there is no waste of memory. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just say okay. I'll just keep the default settings. Now you can see the database. Okay. And
Can you zoom? Can you zoom in?
I think this I cannot.
Because names are not clearly visible.
Okay.
And one more thing, actually, so this is a SQL server. MySQL is different and SQL server is different, right? Like,
Queries are same. If you
mm,
know SQL server, you can easily write only some little syntax differences you'll have, but everything is same.
so for example, if like, can I install both in my laptop, server and MySQL?
Yeah,
So,
you can.
so for example, like when
Just
during the
practice the same
yeah,
queries in MySQL. Yeah.
yes, because during the training I use SQL, and for my personal I can use my MySQL. It can be
Yes, yes,
different, right?
yes. Just try both in the same system. It will work.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So once you create, these are the default databases, right? Master database, model database. I explained what are these databases. This is created by us. B00663. Okay. And one more thing is for practice purpose, we are going to use other database also. Here, here you have, after installing SSMS, you have sample database option, right? Click on this link. Okay. Go down. move down. Here you can see Adventurous Works 2022 data warehouse. Just download these two files. Okay. So it will take some time. Just download it. I'll show you in the next week how to take that backup into your SQL server. You
Okay.
can use the same data here directly to execute the queries.
We can upload it. This time.
Yes, we can upload. So no need to create all the tables just for practice purpose, right? It will take some time. Don't download anything else. Only this OLTP first one and this one, data warehouse. Okay. Any questions so far?
No. The installation looks like different. The server installation looks like lengthy. I'm feeling because I mean in my laptop I previously installed MySQL long back, but it was so quick and easy. But why server is different?
Server is different. Server is different and client is different. Okay, because server in this case, we have server and client both are in the same systems. But actually in the real time, we in our system, we don't have that servers, right?
Yes, yes.
Servers are like a, I can say, pen drive. What we'll do with the pen drives? If you want to store some information, we will take that information into the pen drives, right? But here, uh, when you are working with large data sets, every day you are inserting so many records, so many records. So you should have so much of space to store all this data. That server is nothing but a space. So whenever you insert a data, it will store in the server. Server crashed. Sometimes you heard about it, right? Server crashed means you will lose the complete information. So that's why nowadays they are using cloud servers.
Okay.
There is no crash of that. Did you hear anything about data centers? Data centers,
Yes,
no?
yes, data center. The store the data
Yes.
in the webs.
Data centers are like all the servers. See, suppose if I take a bank, Access Bank, okay, they'll have so many branches. They have so many branches, so many customers, okay, so many transactions daily. And they may have some employees information. They may have some software related access bank. I mean, software related means software side, they have some different employees. So all that information they need to store in the servers. Will they maintain only one server? One server is not sufficient, okay? When sometimes they need to maintain multiple servers, okay? So all that servers, they'll keep it in the data centers. Data centers are like a place where they'll store multiple data servers. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah, they.
Data center is the main place. There you will have so many servers. In each server, we will store our data using this insert, update, delete, whatever.
Hi, Devi. I
Okay.
have one doubt
Yeah.
regarding ADF. What is the use of ADF? So actually,
ADF.
ADF,
What is ADF?
Azure Data Factory.
Okay, Azure one that is belongs to uh, cloud related, I guess.
So this is
Not
also related to data. Do we have anything where data analyst
No,
use the ADF?
nowadays, completely instead of storing the data in the servers, they are using that cloud servers, right? What is cloud server? There is no crash. See, if the information is so much, sometimes it crash at that servers, right? So if it is a cloud based, you just not to keep that server safe, even they keep that servers in the sea also sometimes, that servers they store in the seas so that some people maybe they crash wantedly. Okay, so for that reason they keep it in the seas. But nowadays everything is moved to cloud. So nobody can't find where we have that server. In the space they give some space for us to store this data. It's like a bandwidth all that, that that is completely different. It's not like a virtual space. In the
Yeah.
space, in the environment, they give us a space to store our data. It's like a cloud. Azure, all that also belongs to that cloud one only. So we don't work with that again. Yeah, just to check that. I don't have complete information. What is that Azure cloud, all that. Just check it in the Google. You will get some idea.
No, Azure Data Factory. So this is also related to data where the data analyst will use to some. I don't know much, but I heard that ADF also
Hmm.
related where the data analyst will work on that. So for just some job roles, they are also looking for ADF. They are asking knowledge on ADF. So I don't know much about that. So I want to know from you, like what exactly it
What
is.
is that? Azure Data Factory.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, can I please give me time? Maybe by next week I'll explain you this.
Sure, sure, no problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So by next week, just install this client server and server side SQL and client side SQL and download the two files also and go through this material. So then from the next week onwards, we'll try to create the tables, update the tables using that clauses, conditions, how to retrieve the data. So everything we are going to learn from the next week onwards. Okay. So meanwhile, be ready with your environment.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Sure.
we'll continue from the next week. We'll start our actual session. Or as of now, we learned only about theory. Just
Yeah.
what is SQL, what is database, what is the use of it, what you are going to learn, all that. So actually, queries we are going to start from the next week onwards. Okay.
Okay.
I'll give you more examples, more tasks, and more locations where you can practice. So everything we'll see from next.
Sure.
Okay. If you are not, if you don't have system, you have that W3 school or we have other environments also. You can practice there. But if you have system, just install this. And step-by-step instructions already we have here. Go to that instructions file. There you can see SQL server setup, server side setup, and client side setup.
So, madam, will not be a difficulty like when we have a training on the server side and when we are practicing in
Hmm.
the three school and like you're saying that if you don't have a system, you can go
No,
website
but
and you can
our
practice, right?
practice tables are different. Whatever we are teaching here, the tables are different, but the tables are different, right? Just you need to correlate. You need to take your own examples to apply the same conditions. Suppose I
Okay.
explained you about where class, a
Hmm.
where class for filter option, right? I'm explaining you here. Select employees information, some employee name, employee ID, salary from employee table where designation equal to manager. But the same table you will not have in that W3 school. Then there's you have some different tables, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
to take a different example and try to write your query.
Okay.
That is what we have to do. But same examples you will not find there. Just
Yes.
an alternative I'm telling you.
Yes. Yes. Got it.
But if you have in your system, that will be better.
Yes. Yes. Sure.
Okay. Any other questions? Be ready with the software, everything. We'll continue from next week. Okay.
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Devi?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many classes would be there for entire SQL menu, please?
It will take more 3 weekends.
3 weekends. Okay.
Total 4 weekends it will take.
Four
Um,
weekends.
Actually, class should be 4 hours. Already I have morning 3 hours class, so I'm taking only 2 hours batch. So
Okay.
maybe 4 hours or one day extra,
Extra.
based
Okay.
on how much time we are taking your class, right? Based on the doubt sessions. So let's
Perfect.
see, whatever is the content, we need to take all this content. So
Okay.
mostly it will take 4 weekends.
4 weekends is for SQL.
SQL, yes.
All right. And Power BI, how many weekends?
That again, that will take 4 to 5 weekends, but not 2 hours. If it is a weekend batch, 3 hours. If it is a daily batch, daily 1.5 hours, and it will take 1 month completely.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Devi, and we have not received this material, Devi.
You can talk to front office guys. They'll give you access for this drive.
Okay.
Just provide your email IDs to them, and you will get access for it.
Okay, sure. And one more query, Devi. In between of the, I mean, like when we start practicing, if we have any, I mean, like clarification or doubts to be solved, we can reach out in between, right? Monday to Friday as well.
We will add your number in WhatsApp group, right? So you can post in the group, or if it is a big query, you can ask me in the class. After class, you can ask me, or while class is going on, you can share your screen and explain your query.
Sure.
That is fine.
Sure, Devi. Yeah.
Okay.
Basic, I mean, like kind of 16 GB RAM configured set is enough, no?
Enough.
Yeah. That is sufficient.
We are not going to work with a large data sets, all that, right? Just a sample example. So that is it.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Devi.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
No.
No.
Good. Yeah, good.
All good. This
Yes.
is just a theory and boring concept. Just to go through that material, just check once. And once you start working with the actual queries, you will get a complete idea. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Sure,
Thank
Devi.
you very much.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Devi. Thanks a lot.